So, for a while on my channel, I have said repeatedly that I believe that what we've been witnessing of late, certainly for the last half a year, I would say a year probably, is a global psychological operation to wake people up. And that the people orchestrating this now are not the people who many think they are. This is not the bad guys. And I've said this several times, and recently I have felt quite challenged in my position. And I've had some interesting conversations on Telegram groups about the nature of what's going on and how you reveal the truth to people. And my position has always been that this drip feeding that we've all been seeing of the truth is the only way you can do it, because most people are not at the level of consciousness to even comprehend the truth or care about the truth or believe the truth. And so this drip feeding needs to happen to get them to a level where they will accept it. And other people were saying, no, we've had enough of this. It's causing too much havoc. It's too much suffering. It's better to rip the Band-Aid off. And I really enjoyed this conversation because it made me think. And it's very healthy to continue to reevaluate your position. Because if you get too stuck in one rigid belief, for example, that can be very dangerous, because if it's the wrong one, you can end up in quite a pickle. So I reevaluated myself. I sat on it for a while and I thought, have I got this wrong? Is this drip feeding just an excuse to make people docile and to sit on their asses waiting for a saviour, which was the sort of main argument of the people saying, no, better to rip it off. And no, I'm still comfortable with my position that this drip feeding has had to happen, and it was the only way that it could happen. And I'm also maintaining my position that this is all now controlled by good forces of light, and that we are watching a clown show, and that this is deliberate, and that the people orchestrating this now want people to wake up. So I don't believe this is the baddies anymore. And this is a controversial opinion now, because some people have been awake for so long and nothing's happened, and I do understand that. And that's what's made me question it as well. But I want to draw your attention to a few things. Okay, now, there have been so many clips recently of people exposing themselves. You've got Tony Blair at the WEF talking about digital IDs and tracking people who've been vaccinated, right? Saying it out loud, blatantly out loud, that's what it will do. You've got people like the Dalai Lama. We've seen this clip in the last few days. Extremely sinister, on camera doing this. You've got people like Sam Smith making an absolute fool of himself, talking about fisher them on live TV rather than fishermen. And you've got all this stuff at the awards with the sort of satanic ritual sort of thing embedded into routines. Everything is so obvious. It's incredible. And that people keep making mistakes and slip-ups. You've got Biden making slip-ups all the time. And I just wonder, at what point are people going to start seeing this for what it is? Because for me, if this is the baddies making mistakes and panicking, then it just doesn't resonate. It does not resonate, because you can only make mistakes so many times before it becomes obvious that these aren't mistakes. It's like with the old COVID narrative. People are sort of saying still that lockdowns were a mistake, that the masks were a mistake, the school closures were a mistake. I'm sorry, but when every single measure that was implemented has been proven to be wrong and useless, that is not a mistake. You can't get it all wrong. People make mistakes for sure. You cannot get it all wrong, which shows you, as we all know, that it was a deliberate scam, right? Now take that idea and look at what's going on now with the reveal of the narrative. You see all of these mistakes happening. You see body doubles appearing. Articles in the mainstream media about body doubles. And you go, no, this is quite clearly a concerted operation, a psychological operation, I believe, to reverse the programming in the population, to wake people up. And it's the only way it could be done. The years and years and the depth and the power of the programming that was installed into people by the baddies is incredible. And it just simply wouldn't work to rip off the plaster. It just wouldn't. People wouldn't believe it. Some people would go insane. There would be absolute carnage. And people wouldn't know what on earth was going on. And most of the people wouldn't care. They would not care because they haven't seen the evil for themselves. So there you go. That's my position at the moment. And again, GB News this week has been talking a lot about the transgender stuff. And there was a very interesting interview with Anne Widdecombe, who is a former Conservative MP in the UK. And she was talking in an interview about the indoctrination in the schools and the transgender stuff. And she actually said on air and she advised parents to take their children out of school until something is done about this. And I found that really interesting, because the best thing right now is to take children out of school. And the fact that this was being encouraged was, again, more evidence to me that this is a wake-up operation and that people are being told to say things. It's all scripted. People are being told to say things to reveal them, to expose themselves, to expose the agenda, and to encourage the public to start taking action and waking up. So that's where I stand. Again, I'm open to being wrong, and I'm still looking at all possibilities here. But that's just what I see. Let me know what you guys think, because a healthy discussion is always good.